Penn State football, a tradition of excellence for over 130 years. Welcome to Nittany Nation Rewind.
Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to Nittany Nation Rewind. I'm Peter Terpstra, standing on a double box.
Yes, you are, and I'm Jack Washer. This is Nittany Nation Rewind, and today we will take a trip into our time machine. Are we calling Doc and Marty and all them? No? Back to the Future? No reference? Okay, all right.
All right, anyways, we hope to bring you plenty of memories from throughout the years. And Penn State has had plenty of great years. Penn State has had 13 undefeated seasons in its history, and their first ever football season was in 1881. Then they went undefeated for the first time 6 years later. Now, in recent history, we're talking 1947, two in the 60s, 1973, 1986, and 1994 was Penn State's last undefeated squad. And here's why that is important. You probably heard the phrase unbeaten and uncrowned quite a bit in Penn State history. The team put together two undefeated seasons back to back in 1968 and 1969. That is our starting point for this show. All
right, those two teams left their mark in Penn State history. Both teams finished their years 11-0. In 1968, Joe Paterno was in just his third year as head coach. That team finished number 2 in the AP poll behind, you guessed it, Ohio State, who went 10-0 that year. And again in 1969, they did it again. In the AP poll, they picked Texas as a national champion that year. Get this, President Richard Nixon wanted to give Penn State a trophy for 2 undefeated seasons in a row. Thanks, Mr. President. And this is what Joe Paterno had to say about all of that.
Penn State played an undefeated season up until the last game. Arkansas and Texas played, they were undefeated, they played another game. President Nixon happened to go to that game, and in the excitement of his excitement, he went to the locker room and declared Texas as the national champion. And here sat Penn State with an 11-0 record. And the President of the United States overrode the polls. And then somebody must have gotten to President Nixon and said, you know, there's a whole bunch of people in the East that are very unhappy about this. They have an undefeated team, too. Joe received a call at home from somebody at the White House and was told that the President of the United States, President Nixon, wanted Joe to come to the White House to accept a plaque in honor of his and his team's undefeated season. Joe's still angry over his arbitrary selection. Simply said, you can tell the president where you can put that plaque.
Ooh, Joe Pa told the president to shove it. It's time for Where Are They Now? Jack Hamm was a starting linebacker on both the 1968 and 1969 teams. He graduated in 1970. He's an area legend in Happy Valley. The Johnstown native played 11 years in the NFL, all of those with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He went to 8 straight Pro Bowls at one point. He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and he has done plenty of broadcast work as well. He helps out the Penn State broadcast team as well on the radio.
He also won 4 Super Bowls. That was pretty cool, too. This next guy could be one of the most famous Penn Staters around. You still see Franco Harris come back and visit Happy Valley. He was an absolute beast. Harris is also a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He was usually a blocker, but did tally up 2,000 rushing yards and 24 touchdowns at Penn State. He played 12 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, went to 9 straight Pro Bowls. He then got involved in all sorts of businesses in the Pittsburgh area, and also had to do with something we called, that immaculate reception.
The immaculate reception with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You might have seen it. All right, now for Mike Reid. This is a cool story. He was a team captain in 1968 and 69 as a defensive tackle. He was also a wrestler at Penn State. Shout out to all the wrestlers out there. He went number 7 overall in the 1970 NFL draft to the Cincinnati Bengals, although Reid might be best known for his music. He won a Grammy for his country music songwriting and signed to Columbia Records as a music artist and had a #1 hit on the country music charts. How about that? Fact time with Pete, fact time with Pete, fact time with Pete. Jack, did you know that college football was de-emphasized around 1927? No scholarships. That was after a Carnegie report that basically said ball was bad for universities, and they did not get scholarships back until 1949. That's 2 years after they went undefeated in 1947. Fact time with Pete.
Ball is good. Ball is good.
We figured out, especially nowadays, and what we're kind of dealing with now, right?
All right, Penn State didn't join the Big Ten until 1993. And in 1994, the team won the school's first Big Ten title. 2005 was a Big Ten championship year. They lost only one game on a last-second play at Michigan.
Unbeaten and uncrowned. That is kind of the theme throughout all of this. Look at those undefeated seasons, right? Obviously, we've hit on 1994 and how great that offense was. A lot of those years before 1947, you got to keep in mind they were not playing a bunch of games, right? They were playing somewhere like 4 to 6 games per year, but those were still undefeated seasons, and it's crazy to think that Penn State football dates all the way back to 1881.
And I think a lot of, the uncrowning of undefeated seasons had to do with the fact that they were playing mainly in Eastern schedule. You think of Notre Dame, who had all those undefeated years, crowned national champions. They were playing teams from all over, Army, USC. So people got a chance to see them more, and I guess there wasn't a lot of respect with Penn State until you got to the 70s and the 80s.
And they moved away from that, and then they started playing a
Alabama,
national schedule.
West Virginia, and everything. So I think it took a while, but, still pretty impressive to have all those undefeated years.
All right, coming up next, you might know these as the forgotten seasons, but how could you forget? Plus, Penn State's only Heisman Trophy winner switched positions in the middle of his college career. We'll talk about that next.